We're going to start up our show in just a few minutes. If you have a ring sheet, you obviously can see we're going to start with the breeding heifers, that first class of Angus calves. So please have your animals ready. These are small classes, so please be ready.
That guy. We need it.
Lady. Do you know who Mrs. Stevie is? No, she's not there yet. I'm going to give her one thing. She's 96. She had missed one. I don't know how many years. She sits in a chair over there. Well, I'll point it out to you, but I'll give you the certificate to give to her. So I'm going to be walking down that way. She isn't here yet, but I'm sure she will. Okay. See her right in here. And if I use her, there's a, see where that lady in pink is in the park set of bleachers? There is a under the seat there in that area. So, you know, if I happen to use them, if I got other questions on them, and there's one over, I got two of them, one over about where Todd's parents are. Maybe a little, about right there, I think on the second, maybe the second or third row in that area. So.
Okay. What did they decide on the, what time are we supposed to be starting the steer show?
10.
Well, somebody said Merlin announced at 10:30 the other night. I said the Fairfoot's 10. Andy Ryan was one of them because he's got a beginner. There's Merlin. Yeah. What time is the steer show? Beginner class. Fairfoot says 10, but Andy Ryan come down and said that I said 10:30. And I said, well, we'll announce it for sure.
Yeah. Let's go 10.
Fairfoot's 10, so that's what we got.
Yeah. Let's go 10.
Still go at 10. Yeah. Okay.
Andy Ryan, somebody else mentioned it too, because Randy's got a beginner. That's the reason he just wanted to be ready.
Right.
It was.
Right. Highlight.
guess you probably ought to say after Osceola that my wife Julia and my daughter. Oh, okay. Probably need to make sure that they're. Yep. Yes.
Oh, your daughter, she's your boys for age yet?
No, she's on that show. It'll be a while, but she sometimes likes to think that she's going to shake yet.
What are you done with it?
No, they are kind of doing a little family reunion. That's so they're up there with my mom and dad and some of my cousins.
That's a big affair than ours, I think.
In some ways, but I don't know if there's that many more numbers to cattle.
Really?
As it used to be.
I thought so. I thought they were pretty
When I was showing it was 120. But not more. Yeah, I know it took me, I did Fremont County 2 weeks ago, and it didn't take me too long to get through just
Yep.
the numbers. Get you some cattle.
Good morning, everyone. We're ready to begin our show today, and as I stated earlier, we'll begin with our breeding heifers. So that first class of Angus heifers, please come to the show arena. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce our judge today. He comes to us from Osceola, Iowa. Is Mr. Rich Nichols. He lives over in that area with a wife and daughter. He works for United Farmers Co-op in the retail feed division, where he and his brother raise and sell show cattle. Got some training at Iowa State University when he was on the judging team there. So we certainly welcome him to our show today. In this class of Angus Junior yearling, we have Dana Shires. Her heifer was born on March 2nd. Well, I don't need it. Just one. Well, but I flipped through the classes and I got to go back, so I have it right in front of me. I can't see it, so I'll borrow your time. She wants to do the order. Great.
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me out to judge the county fair today. I don't think we could have asked for a much better morning for this. Hopefully it stays cool, but I also hope that means that the cattle don't act up. But good entry here to start our show. Nice Angus heifer, really stout, really bold, really big-bodied and big-boned and stout-featured. Her neck comes really high out of the top of her shoulder. Really nice entry here. I mean, if I was going to change her just a little, I'd like to put her shoulder on her just a little square and relax her in her knee. I'd also like to relax her in her hock a little bit, but with that added stoutness, you get a little bit of that. So really nice entry here to start off for show. Congratulations, young lady.
Okay, in that class, Dana Shire received the purple ribbon and also a banner sponsored by Vanderholm Cattle Company and Chris Vanderholm. Coming in now, we should have a Charolais percentage heifer.
Both get a purple, right?
Two.
No, there's
Two.
one.
Oh, no. You're right.
It's early. That's early. We get right about noon. We're going again.
Isn't that your standard answer, usually, Merlin? You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the arena now, we have Miss Briley Means. Her heifer was born on 4/24. This is a Charolais percentage junior yearling. We have a summer yearling coming in. That's after May 1st.
Another really nice single entry in this class, one that I think could stand a little competition as we get the other one back in here after we do age differences and stuff. But I think one that to me reads really maternal, really feminine in her feature, really smooth jointed and really just kind of hard to put a hole in, right? She just, the way she lays her shoulder onto her body, the way that her muscle lays onto her skeleton, it's just smooth and definitely a heifer that definitely like that about her. I think there's no real just wow factor, but there's also nothing really wrong with her. She's really sound. She's really, especially for a Charolais composite, really smooth and feminine. So a really nice single entry here, and we'll see how she stacks up to the heifer coming in the next class. But congratulations, young lady.
She wants to come out. She wants to come out.
Holy cow. Coming in now in the next class is also a Charolais. This is a summer yearling. This heifer was born after May 12th. This is Hannah Comer.
Another single entry here in our composite division. I think one that, right on first glance, she's stout. She's heavy structured. She's got a lot of muscle to her, as you'd expect in a Charolais. With that comes a little bit more coarseness, a little more roundness in her shoulder, out of her hip, a little rounder at the top side of her neck, but a really fairly functional, really stout female for this young lady. Congratulations.
All right, Hannah will also receive a purple ribbon, and she'll leave her heifer in here to compete for the champion Charolais. So Briley Means will bring in her junior yearling heifer, and we'll pick a champion out of these two.
Well, if you would, put your hands together for the Charlotte Composite Division. I think there's two nice heifers out here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, though. I really like the heifer that comes out of the first class. I think she's probably just the more attractive, more functional option that just kind of more, she reads a little more maternal and breeding cattle. And so, young lady, you're going to be our champion, and the stout-made, big-boned heifer here is going to be reserved. But congratulations to both of you.
Okay, our champion Charlet heifer is Riley Means, and our reserve goes to Hannah Comer. Riley will receive a banner sponsored by Page County Cattlemen, as well. Reserve also receive a banner sponsored by the Page County Cattlemen. Coming in now, we have our Hereford Junior Yearlings. We have two entries here. Leading off, we have Boone Slater, then followed by Macy Slater. Both of these being April heifers, Junior Yearlings.
Go lavender. Go lavender. You can do a lavender on that other one. Yep. Here in our Hereford division, I think one that starts this class, I think she does so just by her mobility right now. I think she gets around just way more comfortably on her skeleton. She's way more appropriate and angled to her shoulder and comfort out of her front end. She's way more relaxed in her spine, and I think in particular she's much more coordinated and relaxed out of her rear too. Really gets around nice. Not only that, I think she also just, when you get her parked, she probably just balances up a little bit better from the side, and I thought she was a real comfortable place to start. The young lady's heifer that comes next, I really think that there's one that she's got some softness to her body. She definitely probably has the advantage over the other heifer in just her extension up front. For me, it was more just her uncoordination she gets out of her rear too. She's really laboring here off of her show side rear leg, and that's kind of what made the decision for me. But nice pair of Herefords here. Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations to our champion Hereford, Boone Slater. He'll receive a banner sponsored by Orscheln's here in Clarinda, and also the purple ribbon. And our reserve goes to Macy Slater. She also will receive a banner sponsored by Orscheln's in Clarinda. Coming into the arena now, we should have our main Anjou entry. This is a junior yearling shown by Stevie Wilmus. Her heifer was born on May 20th. Looking ahead up at those people up in the cattle barn, we will start the steer show at 10 o'clock. It looks like we will be ready to go at that time. So that first class of beginners, have your steers ready at 10 o'clock, if you would, please.
Here in our main Anjou class, a really striking female who sends her neck really high out of the top of her shoulder. She's really, really collected in her top line, and then when you get in behind her, she's really stout-made, bold-pinned, really has a lot of substance to her, also really heavy structured, big-boned. I would like to relax her just a little bit up front, lean her back in her shoulder and knee. I'd also like to do the same kind of out of her hock and pastern, just soften up a little bit. Same thing with her center rib, drop it down just a little, but one that has a really cool look, a lot of stoutness and feature. Congratulations, young lady.
All right, our champion in that class is Stevie Wilmus, receiving a purple ribbon. She will compete here in just a minute for the champion main Anjou. Coming in now, we have our summer yearling in this division, shown by Cheyenne Sunderman. Her heifer is a May 15th birth date.
Another really nice single entry here. I think a heifer that she really gets around the ring easily. She really is flexible and fluid in her motion. She's soft-bodied and moderate. I'd like to just probably give her just a little more balance as I study her from the side. Pick her up on her chest floor, give her a little more attractive look up through her front end, but a really functional, soft-made female for this young lady. Congratulations.
All right, Cheyenne Sunderman will also receive a purple ribbon class. We will now select the champion main Anjou heifer.
Two nice heifers here in our main Anjou division. I think kind of a yin and yang, two very different heifers. Ones that you kind of got to sort through the differences and decide kind of what you prefer, and that's a little bit where I'm glad I'm not the one who I'm glad it's my opinion. I get to tell you how I like them versus, and you guys might like them different. But as I see it, you kind of got the bigger, more extended, more attractive female that maybe needs to be relaxed off either end of her skeleton ever so slightly here to start. And then you've got the moderate, big-bodied one that gets around a little better, but just needs to have a little more show ring presence and look here and out of the second class. And all things considered, I think, in my opinion, just the one I prefer is the young lady's heifer out of the first class. I prefer just the added look that we have there. Young lady out of the second class, she definitely corrects some of the faults of our heifer that wins, but she's going to be reserved with a really nice heifer. So congratulations to both of you.
All right, champion Main Anjou heifer belongs to Stevie Wilmus, and our reserve, Cheyenne Sunderman. Stevie will receive a banner sponsored by Vanderhome Cattle Company, Chris Vanderhome, and also the reserve will receive a banner sponsored by Vanderhome Cattle Company. Coming in now, we should have our Red Angus Junior yearling. This is Mackenzie Fast. Her heifer was born on February 15th. Red Angus Junior yearling.
Here in our Red Angus division, a really smooth-made, maternal-appearing female, really soft in her center body, really smooth as she transitions from her forehip into her shoulder, really just smooth in the way that her muscle lays onto her body. Really like that about her. You know, it seems like she maybe hurt her rear leg a little bit, and she's limping a little bit today. And I'd also like to just clean her up and make her a little more attractive up front, but a really nice maternal, soft-made female for this young lady. Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations to Mackenzie Fast. She will receive a purple ribbon. And she will receive a banner sponsored by 3C Farms. Coming in now, we should have our Shorthorn Summer Yearling entry. We should have 3 in this class. We have Shanda Sunderman, a July 16th heifer, followed by Chevy Hutt. His heifer was born on June 28th. And then we have Nora Kirkpatrick. Her heifer was born on May 11th. This is our Shorthorn Summer Yearlings.
Well, here we get into one of our bigger classes of the day in this breeding heifer show. We got 3 shorthorns and actually a really nice female to start. She's not clipped, but I think there's a lot of really nice pieces here. She's really extended up front. She's really, really attractive in that. She's long-hipped. She puts together a really nice image from the side. She's really sound. And has some really cool pieces in that. And as I grew up raising shorthorns, that color pattern is what we always were aiming for, at least what my dad liked. So that it doesn't affect her placing at all, but it's just kind of a cool color, and I enjoy that. Brings me back to growing up. But a really, really nice heifer here to win the class. Now we get 2 that come next that are very, very similar in their type and kind, and in my mind it was kind of the challenge of figuring out which one I preferred of the 2. And as I studied them, I think there's some trade-offs, but the young man's heifer here, the red heifer, she's just a little stouter boned. She's a little stouter when you get in behind them, and she's just a little better in the way that her chest sits in her, and to me, that was why I preferred her. Now, the roan heifer that comes after her, she's softer bodied, and that's probably where I see her big advantage, is she's just softer in the center part of her body. But to me, I just like to see her a little stouter and a little heavier featured like the heifer in front of her, but 2 really nice females that are going to be good cows for these young people. Congratulations.
All right, receiving a purple ribbon in first place, Shanna Sunderman. She'll receive a banner sponsored by Sunderman Trucking, Rich Sunderman. And in reserve, also receiving a banner sponsored by Sunderman Trucking, Chevy Hutt.
We're doing these the same way, lining up over there. Give another call. Okay. Ready, set, go.
Now we're getting into our commercial breeding heifers. This first class, we've got 2 classes. This first class of junior yearlings. Leading off, we have Steamy Wilmus. Her heifer is born on the 16th of March, followed by Ethan Fast, March 10th heifer. Colby Carlson, March 7th. And then Maggie Carlson, a March 6th heifer. These are first class of commercial junior yearlings.
Man, there's some depth here. Some depth here. Give these kids a good round of applause. These are some nice heifers. I think a lot of quality, like I said, and I think though that still the place to start is the heifer that wins the class. Man, does she really hit you hard when she walks in? Really, really high neck attachment, comes high out of her shoulder, really gets out of her front end with a lot of reach and extension. Really, really good image here from the side. Soft-bodied, really, really heavy structured here. The one place I'd maybe fault this heifer just a bit is she's a little rounder out of her hip, and consequently she kind of wants to get up underneath herself on the go, but one that is just, man, there's a lot of quality there. A lot of quality. Congratulations on a really nice heifer, young man. And the second place heifer, I think, emulates her qualities as good as any in the class, and in fact, I do prefer her out of her hip. She's a lot leveler out of her hip and a little more coordinated out of her rear leg. She just doesn't have the added look that the heifer in front of her has, particularly with that little bit of chest that she's got there. But man, that is a really big-footed, sound-made, soft, centered, really, really flexible heifer. This young man, you do an awesome job showing her. Incredible job. She's in a really good rig, awesome haired. Really, really nice heifer here to go second. I really do like that heifer. And it was close, though, because I do like a lot of the things we find here in our third place heifer. She's really, really round in her rib cage. She's really bold and stout in that, but yet lays it on in a really smooth and maternal fashion. She's probably more attractive in the way that she sends her head and neck and chest kind of up there out of her front end. To me, it was kind of as I got down to the ground, as I studied them in their angles, to me she just reads a little more upright in her shoulder, a little tighter out of her hock. And out of her hip, and pinches there in her loin just ever so slightly. But again, a really nice heifer here to come third in class. A lot of quality in her as well. Not to take anything away from the young lady's heifer here in fourth. That is a really soft, centered, really sound-made heifer that really just got into a class of some really good ones in front of her. She's just a little plainer up front, but one that's going to lay down. She's going to be an awesome cow for this young lady. I'm sure she's going to be a money-making fool for her, but really, really nice class. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
All right, in that class of commercial junior yearlings, first place goes to Ethan Fast. Our reserve goes to Kobe Carlson. Also receiving blues, Stevie Wilmus, and fourth place, Maggie Carlson. Coming in now, we'll have our second class of commercial junior yearlings. We have Jada Mark. Her heifer is February 28th. Dalton Wright, also a 28th of February heifer. James Wallach, February 14th, and Chase Voorhees, February 8th. This is our second class of commercial junior yearling breeding heifers.
I'm good with just crossing it off.
kind of a challenging class to sort through. I think obviously all colors of the rainbow out here, a lot of differences, a lot of similarities. And just as I see it here, the heifer that kind of combines the most here is the heifer that we start the class with. I think started on the, just as she's parked, she probably offers the most balanced, attractive image from the side in the way that she just, how she sends her neck out of her shoulder, remains collected in her top line, still has a maternal look to her lower skeleton there, and gets around with ease. You get in behind her, she's got some stoutness, she's got some width up high. You get in front of her, she's still got some width in her chest, she's smooth in her shoulder. Would I like to just kind of make her a little more attractive and smooth everywhere? Yes, but that's the one I think just puts together the most good and a sound, functional package, and I think she's the place to start. And it got closer to me as we kind of tried to think about second and third. The reason I went with the Smoky Heifer here in second is I just think she does it in a more functional package. She's really, and that starts at the ground, she's really, really big-footed, and that really helps her just get around and go with more comfort and ease off either end of her skeleton. She also is the smoother heifer that really transitions well into her shoulder from her forerib. She's really smooth in the way that her muscle lays onto her skeleton there. Now, I would say I'd like to just make her a little prettier up front, like to soften her center skeleton just a little, but a really nice heifer here in second. Heifer that comes in third, man, she's the power heifer of the group. Man, when you get in behind her, she's got all sorts of muscle to her. With that added muscle, though, she gets a little tighter off either end of her skeleton, a little more labored out of her shoulder. She gets more kind of upright and tight in her hock and pastern, and that's why the heifer goes in third. She just didn't move out as good as the two heifers in front of her, but a nice heifer here for this young man who's really stout. And we're going to finish the class off with a red heifer that is as functional as they come in this class. Man, does she get around and go really well. I'd just like to see her have a little more, when I get in behind her, I'd like to see her be a little bit softer in her rib, but a really sound, functional female to end the class. Just congratulations to these young exhibitors on their breeding heifers here.
All right, in that class of second class of the junior yearlings, first place goes to Dalton Wright, receiving a purple. In second, James Wallach, also receiving a purple. Receiving blues in third place, Jace Voorhees, and in fourth, Jada Mark.
All right. Second place.
Coming in now, we have our summer yearling in the commercial group. We'll pick our champion junior yearling. Out of that first class, we have Ethan. All right, out of that first class, we're bringing in our reserves first. Colby Carlson, his was a March 7th heifer, and our reserve in the class number 2, we've got James Wallach. Now we've got our first place winners in the junior yearlings. Coming in now, Ethan Fast, March heifer, and then last class, Dalton Wright, a February heifer.
Well, if you would, put your hands together for a nice set of commercial heifers. Both classes were filled with some quality, and like to see what I see when they get back out here. But I'm not gonna mix any words. I do think that there's one out here that kind of definitely needs to win. She just kind of screams show cow quality as well as functionality and width and all the things that you kind of look for here. Young man with the black heifer with the white belly will be our champion here. And then we'll bring our reserve back in and look at him one more time before I pick reserve. As we bring our second place back in, as you guys may remember in class, I talked about the depth of quality in that class, and I think that as she comes back in, she definitely deserves here to be reserved. Congratulations, young man, on another really nice heifer. Congratulations on our other two exhibitors as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, our champion junior yearling goes to Ethan Fast, and our reserve to Colby Carlson. Now coming in, we have our other group, our summer yearling commercial heifer. We have one entry in this class. Stevie Wilmus will bring in her May 5th heifer. This is our commercial heifer summer yearling.
Well, another really nice heifer here in our summer division here in our commercials. I think this young lady's brought us a lot of calves, and they have a lot of things in common. They all are really bold in their rib. They're all really, really good necked, and this heifer has that same kind of stamp to her. Really, really unique in her neck. Her head and ear set and neck is really, really striking. Really attractive up through her head and neck. Really soft-bodied, and when she's stuck, she puts together a really, really nice image from the side. Really impressed as I get behind her, too, with the amount of skeletal width that we have. I'd really like to just relax her off either end as she goes. She gets a little more upright in her knee and her shoulder. She's just a little uncoordinated out of her rear leg. If she probably just had a little more foot underneath her, I think that would compensate for that pretty well. But a really, really attractive female here. Congratulations, young lady, on a nice calf.
All right, our champion summer yearling in the commercial group, we have Stevie Wilmus. She'll receive a purple ribbon, and we'll be back in her in a minute to pick our overall commercial heifer. We have one more entry in the commercial classes. This is a cow-calf pair. This is Owen Wright. His calf happens to be a March 8th heifer, I believe. Heifer calf.
Or is it?
tell you what, if I had a herd and a pasture full of cows that look like this, I'd probably feel pretty good about life. That's a nice cow. One that just does every fundamental thing right. She gets around and does it on a big foot, and she does it really athletically. She's raising a really nice calf at side. Man, I really love the way that her udder's made. Her teats are the right size and shape. She's holding their condition really well. Really, really beautiful cow with a nice, attractive bull calf on the side that's gaining good and certainly inherited his mother's structure and build. Really nice pair here. Congratulations, young man.
All right, receiving a purple ribbon for that class of cow-calf pair is Owen Wright. He, with his heifer, will now compete for our overall commercial breeding heifer, so we'll bring all those down. In our junior yearlings, we've got Ethan Fast with a March heifer. Stevie Wellmus with a summer yearling. Then our cow-calf pair, Owen Wright.
Well, folks, put your hands together for a really nice set of heifers out here. There's a lot of just quality out here. I think some really cool pieces and parts in all these animals. And I talked to them in class. I think you know kind of how I like them and what I appreciate about all of them. I do think there's one out here that hits me really hard. And then after that, I will probably have to look a little harder for reserve. But, man, I'm really impressed with the quality of these cattle and the pieces and parts that I think that they'll transmit to the next generation. They are breeding cattle, and we want to make sure that they continue to make cattle better instead of just keep the status quo the same. So congratulations again. I'll go pick your champion, then look a little harder for reserve.
Okay, congratulations to our champions in the commercial division. We have Ethan Fast. He'll receive a banner sponsored by French Construction of Bethesda. And our reserve commercial goes to Kobe Carlson. He'll receive a banner sponsored by Randy and Valerie Bear family. We will now bring in all our champions in all the different divisions to select our overall Grand and Reserve champion breeding heifers. While we're waiting, a couple announcements. As you know, every day we have day sponsors. We certainly thank them. And you can see at the north end of the arena that Taylor Pharmacy is one of our sponsors today, and Nutrient Feeds is also one of our sponsors. We certainly thank them. As we've done in the past, we've, thanks to the Page County Cattlemen, we've given away some beef certificates. I'd like to give one away right now. I have a question that involves different breeds of cattle. As you saw, we had several different breeds in here today. What breed of cattle, the first one, raise your hand or yell out, our guys will try to catch you. What breed of cattle was started in Iowa near St. Mary's? What breed of cattle was started in Iowa near St. Mary's? We have the answer sitting behind me. I didn't hear it. It is polled Hereford. Congratulations, sir.
Doing the reserves evidently.
You'll do the 5 reserves first, and we'll go down.
Let them come around once at least. The reserves.
5 reserves.
Let the reserves. Let them come around one time.
You're gonna. Do you want them around one?
Yeah, let's do so they get a little more recognition.
So the reserves.
Reserves and then go take them back there. Yeah.
Bruce, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to select our reserve champion and reserve champion breeding heifer now. We're bringing in the reserves first. Coming in now, we have our champion Charlet, Hannah Comer. We'll parade them around one time, followed by Macy Slater, her reserve champion Hereford. Then we have our reserve main Anjou, Cheyenne Sunderman. Our reserve champion Shorthorn, Chevy Hutt. And our reserve champion commercial heifer, Colby Carlson. Let's give a big hand to our reserve breeding heifers. All right, we'll bring in our champions now. Leading off, our champion Angus. Dana Shires as our champion Angus. Friday Means has our champion Charlet. Our champion Hereford, Boone Slater. Our champion Main Anjou, Stevie Wilmus. Mackenzie Fast is bringing in our champion Red Angus. Then we have our champion Shorthorn. Shanna Sunderman. Then and last, our champion commercial, Ethan Fast. Once again, up in the beef barn, those of you getting ready for the steer show, we will not start until 10 o'clock. We're ready to select our champion and reserve champion breeding heifer, but we'll not start before 10, so please have your steers ready. The first class of beginners.
Well, put your hands together for an outstanding set of heifers out here. Really, really nice set. And well shown, and kids doing a good job out here, so that's always fun to see. As we go through, it's kind of with a lot of these individuals out of each division and stuff like that. I'm just going to briefly make some comments on them each as individuals, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing out here as we try to pick an overall champion. I think here out of our Angus division, a really, really powerful Angus, one that's got a lot of foot, substance, bone. One you get in behind her's got a lot of actual real muscle and width. To me, she's just a little piecey. She falls apart a little bit behind her shoulder. She gets a little more upright in her knee, a little piecier out of her hip and hock and pastern, but one that's really stout and's got a lot of power. I think as a breeding piece, just like to kind of smooth her up in some of those areas. Now, the smooth heifer I think the smooth heifer of the lineup is the one that comes out of the composite division. Really smooth made, really attractive from the profile. The one thing on her I'd like to just tweak ever so slightly, I'd like to give her a little more bone and foot out of her rear too, and I'd like to just see her use her hock with a little more comfort. But one that's, man, she's smooth, she's soft made, really good hip for a Shark composite, really attractive up front, and I like a lot of things about her. A really, really functional one here. With our Hereford. Man, does she get around on a big foot and just gets around really easily around the ring. One that I'd like to just clean up kind of in her navel or chest and up at the top side of her neck. Just make her a little more feminine and maternal, but one that's really, really functional, and I like her just doability and functionality. Really nice high mane here. A lot of bone, a lot of substance. One I'd like to just soften up a little bit, both in her angles and in her center body. Really soft-made red Angus here that's got a lot of just femininity and just smoothness to her. Like to just see her be a little more athletic as we get her out here. A really attractive heifer here in our shorthorn division. One that I'd like to just see have a little more substance to her, but man, does she have some cool pieces for the young lady. And then a really, really nice heifer here coming out of our commercial division. Like a lot of things about her extension, her look, her bone. And when you get in behind her, the added just substance she has, and yet still laying it on in a smooth maternal fashion. I mean, being nitpicky, I'd like to coordinate her out of her rear too, just ever so slightly, but one with an extra amount of quality. So I think there's really, really, and not to take anything away, there's some pretty good reserves back there too that will definitely be in contention for reserve as we get back and look at them. But again, put your hands together. Really, really nice set of cattle. Enjoyed evaluating them. And also want to thank the ring help for all they've done so far as well. So.
Okay, congratulations. Our overall champion breeding heifer goes to Ethan Fast. He comes to us out of the commercial class. He'll receive a banner sponsored by Twin Oaks Veterinary Clinic here in Clarinda. And our reserve champion goes to Briley Means, coming out of the Charolais division. Congratulations to all exhibitors. We'll finish up our breeding heifer show this morning at 10 o'clock. We've got just a few minutes. We'll start with our steer classes, our beginners. We got about 10 minutes, and we'll get started with the steer show. We've got a few minutes here. I've got a few facts you might be interested in, some things some of you might realize. Our first county fair took place on the courthouse lawn, and that was back in 1859. Our first county fair here was in 1904. 1960, our county youth agent was Russ Bradall. And I'm sure all of you know our 4-H was started right here in Page County in Fremont Township by Jesse Fields Tambaugh in 1901. Our swine barn was built in 1969. Our beef barn was in 1968, we believe. And this current show arena was built in 1971.
Okay. After the state fair.
Yeah.
You got a cattle going state fair as well?
I do. Several. Charlie Steer. Charlie Steer. Children Plus Steer. Commercial Heifer.
That was what you raised.
So stuff that I would have bought and sold. I don't think there's a few others out there.
Do you help up there?
I can't help, but I can just stand and instruct fitting.
Yeah.
But
Actually, I thought maybe you worked with the state fair.
oh no, no.
We'll have a few go up there with projects from down here. Not too many, but a few kids.
Yep.
Dustin something.
Dustin something. Dustin something. Really? Oh, that's
James's son,
what is what?
Angela.
She on the board?
They don't know.
She on the board?
Yeah, she's the secretary for the cattleman. She's the one who writes all the checks. Yeah. Yeah, she's taller and thin. Now she's got a big baby belly, so.
Oh, that maybe I haven't seen it.
You're just working on getting into trouble now.
Okay.
YouTube makes me a list of all the stuff I remember it, so I don't forget it next time.
Well, sometimes I don't remember until we get here. And then
Probably an hour then.
47 crosses, Merlin.
It's hard when heifers don't have birth.
7. Yeah, maybe.
You want Bruce to announce that. Raise the break.
After the home race, or pick the home race champion. Okay. I couldn't get it. I couldn't walk in there because when I was
We don't have any more.
So we should have in here, you're saying?
This one right here, this
There's no home raised beginner.
there's no begin. There's no race cattle beginner. Yeah.
Maybe you
Just a
start
cattle.
to get
That's if we don't
Yeah,
have
there's another.
they bring in black.
Maybe you wanted this cross country. I wouldn't even
So we don't have a home race together.
say that out loud because it's on the program. There's only 4 beginners.
No
I
home
just like
race.
his face like that when he said
We're about ready to begin our steer show today. So we'd like that first class of beginners, please head to the show arena. And for those of you getting ready in the barn with the other classes, we will show up through and including the home raised cattle before lunch. We will take a break after we select the champion home raised steer. Okay, we're ready to bring in our first class, class number 1, our beginners. We should have four entries here, and each of these kids will have received a brand new show hauler from the Page County Cattlemen. Leading off here, we have Colt Nelson. His steer weighs 930. Followed by Chevy Hutt. His steer weighs 1045. Then we have Dwayne Ryan. His steer weighs 1130. And then we have Boone Slater. His steer weighs 1385. These are our beginners.
No, sorry.
All good.
I don't think
We
it's
on?
It's that little
Well, it's really cool to see first year 4-Hers showing calves. And so, first I want to say something to all the kids out here showing. Keep with it, okay? It's a really, really great project, and you're going to learn a lot from it. So I would encourage all of you guys to stick with it and keep showing calves. But to get into talking the cattle, I think a very clear place to start here, a calf that's market ready. He handles really well. He's got some spread up high. He's got perfect degree of finish. The calf's fed really well. He's fat steer appearing. Really, really has done well there. And not only that, but he puts together a nice image from the side. He bounces up pretty well, gets around the ring pretty easily. Pretty easy place to start for me. Congratulations, young man. I think it got a little bit more challenging here as we get in between second and third. To me, I just kind of went with the calf I thought was just the softer made, probably better finished calf here. It's just a little more functional here in second place with the Baldy steer. I think that he gets around and moves really well off either end of his skeleton. So I got my hands on him. He was really had an appropriate degree of a finish here over his rib and up over his top. Yeah, I'd like to stouten him up a little bit compared to our class winner, but a nice calf here that's a really, really good fat steer here for this young man. I'd like to see this next calf here coming out in third. I think that's a really big-boned, growthy type of calf that sure has a lot of frame to put more condition and gain on. I'd just like to see that calf be a little further along in his finish. He's a little raw over his rib. He's a little sucked up in his flank. I'd like to just see him have a little more finish to him. And I'd like maybe a little bit stouter as I get in behind him, but a really growthy, big bone, nice calf for this young man here to come third. And to finish out the class, young man, you do an awesome job with Buddy. Really, really good job. He's really tame. You've got him calmed down awesome. Unfortunately, Buddy didn't make weight, but Buddy's a really sound, soft-made calf. It's big-boned, and it has an awesome disposition for this young man. Just need to get him a little heavier in the future. But really, really nice job to those beginner showmen.
Congratulations to our beginners. Our champion goes to Boone Slater, his steer weighing 1385. And in memory of Lowell Bear, Audrey Bear, and Susan Bear Barlow, Randy and Valerie Bear is presenting him with a banner to Boone. And our reserve, congratulations, Chevy Hutt, his steer weighed 1045. He'll receive a banner sponsored by Right 5 Farms. We've got two classes of market heifers, so out of this first group, coming in, we have Katie Ryan. Her steer weighs 1030, followed by Noah Comer, 1045, Jada Mark, 1080, Cody Fast, 1155, Eli Voorhees, 1165. This is our first class of market heifers. Once again, we will break after the home raised classes. I believe it's class number 9 will be the last class before lunch. That's our home raised. We'll go up through and including our home raised classes before lunch.
You know, a lot of similarities here in our first class of market heifers. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But there's a lot of differences, and so I can understand if you would. But I'm just going to tell you the differences that I saw and why I kind of saw it the way I did, and we'll go from there. I think the heifer I used to win, to me, she just hit me with the most muscle. Man, she's stout when you get in behind her. She's really stout up high, has a lot of muscle as you get kind of up over top of her, out of the backside of her shoulder all the way back to her hip and loin. Man, is that heifer stout. She's really really good to the touch. Right degree of finish over her loin, over her ribs, all that. And I think to me, the thing that kind of separated her from the heifer that comes in second is she just got that added look up front, added kind of attractiveness to her. I'd sure like to maybe modify her here in her rear leg and make her a little more coordinated and softer, and that is really where I felt the heifer that comes second had the advantage. That's a big-footed, really good in her rear leg type of female. Lots of bone, really sound there. You know, there's another one that I think rivals our class winner, and when you get in behind her in terms of her muscle, in terms of her stoutness. To me, it was the look factor that I was talking about. She's just a little plainer as you study her through her chest and her neck, and she's just a little plainer out of her hip. But I think a really nice heifer to follow up our class winner, a really close top pair. The heifer that comes in third, I think she most emulated our two class winners in terms of that added finish, that added look from the side of our class winner, the added finish of the first two. To me, I just, compared to the first two, like to just stouten her up a little bit when I get in behind her. As I read her in her pin set, read her down low through her quarter and stifle, she flattens just a little in comparison. But one that I think handles with a great deal of quality still as you get your hand on her. The heifer that comes in fourth, the red heifer here, I think she just kind of got outpowered when she hit me as she first came in the ring. Man, that's one that bounces up nice, and she gets around pretty good. But as I just got in behind her, she just didn't have near the muscle of the heifers in front of her, but a really nice heifer here that gets around the ring nice and sure puts a balanced image from the side together. And the heifer that comes next, really sound made heifer. This young lady does a really nice job getting her shown. Just doesn't have the muscle, doesn't have the cover of the calves in front of her. Needs to be a little further along for me to get her up any higher. But again, really sound functional heifer for this young lady. She's still got some room to put on some more weight as well. Congratulations.
All right, in that first group of market heifers, first place goes to Eli Voorhees, receiving a purple. In reserve goes to Cody Fast. Those receiving blues, in third, Noah Comer. In fourth, Jada Mark. And in fifth, Katie Ryan. Now we'll bring in our second group of market heifers. Leading up, we have Dwayne Ryan. This steer weighs 1180, followed by Maggie Carlson. Her steer is 1210. We have Madeline McCoy. Her steer weighs 1210 also. Then we have Crew Schaefer. This steer weighs 1300. This is our second group of market heifers.
Tell you what, we go 3 deep here in terms of just quality market animals, and I think there's differences in look, differences in functionality, differences in handle, and all 3 of them have different advantages to win the class. And so I think the heifer, to me, that just, man, she puts together the best image from the side. She's got muscle. The one that just, to me, looked like she was here to win the class is the heifer that we have win the class. She puts together the best image from the side. Neck real attractive out of the top side of her shoulder. Has a lot of muscle there out of the back of her shoulder and spreads a lot of width all the way back to her loin. Really soft made, big footed, level hipped. I'd really like to modify her as we get her out on the move. She gets way too tight in her hock for me and too upright in her shoulder. But to me, I think that was the place where we are market animals, and if she can get in here and still get around the ring relatively well, I think we've got to give up a little bit of structure to get some of those other things in these market cattle. So that's why I felt comfortable using her to win. The heifer that comes next, I think she emulates the power and the added sound. Well, and she's probably the soundest one here in the class, which then kind of compensates for where I find fault with our class winner. But one that's really soft-made, really spans a lot of width up high, out of her shoulder, back to her hip. One that I just like to pretty up a little bit in comparison to our class. When I compare her back to our class winner, she's just a little bit rounder up through her shoulder and the top side of her neck, but a really nice heifer there to go second. I was very close in my mind between second and third. Young man, your heifer, you fed her awesome. She's in perfect condition. She's the freshest handling heifer, the animal that I've felt in a while. Right over her loin and out of the back of her shoulder, over her ribs, she handles incredible. Super fresh, and that really was impressive to me. One I just like to, when I get her out and kind of compare her as a show cow, though, one that I'd like to just pretty up a little bit up front, make her a little more attractive in her hip and her leg, but a really well-fed, big-muscled heifer here to come third. And the one that we end the class with, one that is really functional for this young man and seems to be doing just a really nice job, them bonding, good project for him. One I'd like to just pretty up a little bit and give her a little more muscle, and I get in behind her to compete with the heifers in front of her. But really nice project for this young man. But a really, really good top trio of heifers in this class. Give them a round of applause, please.
All right, congratulations to our winners in our second class of market heifers. Our champion goes to Madeline McCoy, and our reserve to Maggie Carlson. They will, of course, come back in to compete for champion overall market heifer. Also, in third place in that class, receiving a blue, was Prue Schaefer, and I'll point out that this heifer was in the top 20 rate of gain in the 16th position, and also Dwayne Ryan receiving a red in that class. Coming in first in our market heifers, our reserves, we have Cody Fast coming in with his heifer weighing 11.55. And in this last class, Maggie Carlson, and her heifer weighed 12.10. Coming in now, we've got our champions in the market heifer classes. Eli Boris, heifer, weighed 11.65. Now that second group, our champion was Madeline McCoy. Her heifer weighs 12.10.
Congratulations here to our market heifer exhibitors. Give them a round of applause if you would. I think four good muscled, heavy muscled, good finished cattle here. There's some differences that I see, and so I think there's one that I like a lot that I'm going to use to win, and then when we get the second place out here, we're going to have to look a little closer for reserve. But again, congratulations to these exhibitors, and I'll show you which one I like.
Okay, our champion in that market heifer division goes to Madeline McCoy, and our reserve to Maggie Carlson. I neglected to announce there in that champion, reserve champion market heifer, Madeline McCoy with the champion will receive a banner sponsored by Richard's Cattle Company, and the reserve going to Maggie Carlson. She'll receive a banner sponsored by Greg Muller. All right, we'll bring in our home raised classes now. We'll have 5 classes of home raised steers. In this first class, these cattle weigh between 1135 and 1285. We have Ellison Nowhere. Her steer weighs 1135. Hadley Miller, 1210. Kate Myers, his steer weighs 1270. Then we have Cheyenne Sunderman. Her steer weighs 1275. And Maggie Carlson. Her steer is 1285. This is our first class of home raised, class number 5. Those of you up in the show barn or cattle barn, remember that all of you need to come into the show arena following our show today. Let us know what you're doing with your cattle. All of you need to come in after the conclusion of Showmanship this afternoon. Let us know what you're going to do with your cattle. So we need everyone here later today. Yes, and that includes the junior feeders, the pen of threes. We need all of you exhibiting here in the show ring and the pen of three to come down the show arena at the conclusion of our show today.
I think a really, really easy place here to start. This calf came in the ring and hit me, just in this class relative to his peers, he hits you hard as a show calf. Gets around the ring relatively well. I'd like to maybe relax him a little bit up front. He's soft bodied. He's presented well. He handles really good. He's in the right kind of condition, the right kind of market weight. He's got muscle. He's got a little bit of look. I think a really comfortable place to start. Nice job, young lady, on your home race steer. The calf that comes second here, I do so in the fact that he just puts together kind of what I'm looking for in terms of basic build and look in comparison to the calves behind him. He's really comfortable in his skeleton. He gets around the ring at extreme ease. He's really, really good structured, really good footed, really square at the ground and all those things. Man, I'd really like to have been able to handle him and like just if he was a little bit calmer so I could maybe actually see what he looks like in comparison to the class winner. I think there's a lot of actual just real world quality there. And I think he's actually better in probably the structure than the calf that wins the class, but a really nice one in second here in his build and structure and look. Calf that comes next, to me, I thought of the two that came third and fourth. He was the softer bodied steer, red with just a little more width as I got him behind him. Probably was a little more uniform and appropriate in his finish. Just as I got my hand on him, it was a little fresher to the touch. A calf that I thought maybe got around the ring with just a little more comfort than the one behind him. So that's why I put him third. Nice job, young lady. Good fat steer right here. Another one, too, that's just a good fat steer. Fed well. One that I think is going to hang a really good carcass for a young man. One that I just like to, in comparison to the calf in front of him, like to see him get around a little easier. And like to see him just be a little bit more uniform to the touch. But again, a really nice fat steer is going to hang good for you and have a good carcass. The calf that comes next, one that I actually think has a great deal of look, a great deal of show cow kind of look to him. Unfortunately, he didn't make weight, so he had to be last today. But a calf that I think really nice in terms of his look from the side, a lot of muscle, good feet, those types of things. I just like to see him a little further along in his condition, but a really heavy muscled, nice, attractive steer. Finish out the class. Congratulations to that class of home race steers.
All right, in that first class of home race steers, our first place goes to Maggie Carlson, receiving a purple. Our reserve goes to Cheyenne Sonneman, receiving a purple. In third, receiving blue, Hadley Miller. Fourth, Kate Myers. And I also point out that Kate Myers' steer was fourth in the rate of gain, I believe, with a gain of 3.70. And then also receiving a ribbon, a red ribbon, Ellison Noteware. Now we're ready for our second class of home race steers. Once again, we will break for lunch following the 5 classes of home race. We will break approximately an hour whenever we finish for our lunch break. Coming in now, we have Jade Mark. His steer weighs 1290, followed by Jason Wright. Steers 1290 also. Followed by Owen Wright, 1320. Jade Mark, 1325. Jacob Mark, 1335. And Braden Noteware, 1335. This is our second class of home race, class number 6.
before I get going and talking about each calf, I just want to commend. This is a really, really good set of calves that, man, if there was a feedlot pen full of this group right here, I think somebody would be really happy that they were feeding them. Really, really just fundamental, good cattle in that right. Start with the red steer. I think he combines just the added look, some soundness of structure, definitely presents a cool image from the side and compared to his contemporaries, and he's got some muscle. Definitely one that I think just kind of puts together the most positives here at a cow show, and that's why we used him to win. Really like his extension up front and the easy gets around the ring. You know, I'd like to just soften him ever so much at the touch. Just like to have him a little bit of cover, more cover, and that's where I think the calf that comes second excels the class. He's the most appropriate in his finish and the most impressive as I get my hands on him. I think I really like just how he comes out of the back of his shoulder, the kind of just robustness he has up high, the muscle that he carries down low in his quarter and stifle. I just like to see that calf be a little more attractive as I just kind of put an image to the side in comparison to our class winner, but a really nice fat steer for this young man. The calf, I think, in third, between third and fourth was really close, and I elected to just go with the wider base, a little heavier muscle class here, calf here for third. One that I think, in comparison to the calf after him, really is just stouter made, wider constructed, but one that actually has a lot of good muscle as you get your hands on him. I'd like to see him just a little bit more uniform in his finish, and I'd like to just kind of alter him in his underline, like to lift him up in his flank and soften him in his center body. And that's where I think the advantage really is this young man's calf in fourth. Man, he's a sound steer, really, really comfortable in his skeleton, sends his neck high out of his shoulder and is really comfortable in his shoulder, really comfortable in his spine, soft-bodied kind of calf. I just like to see him a little stouter when I get him behind him. But that's a really, really sound-made, functional type of steer for that young man. The calf that comes next, the black steer, I think he, in this bottom pair, he's the one that's more appropriate in his finish. I got my hands on him. I really appreciated just how much added cover he has over his rib. I think he's really going to cut out an awesome carcass for this young man. One I'd just like to pretty up a little bit, like to make him a little more attractive in his rear leg and make him a little more attractive up front, but a really soft-bodied, good fat steer. And there's not a bad-made fat steer in this class. The one that we end the class with, really heavy bone, soft-made, gets around the ring with some ease. Just like to soften him up, and I'd like to, in his touch, I'd like to just kind of make that calf a little more lean back in his shoulder, but a really nice steer here to end the class. Like I said, really good set from top to bottom. Congratulations.
All right, our class champion in this class, second class of home raised, class number 6. First place goes to Jacob Mark, receiving in purple. Second place of purple also is Braden Nowhere. The rest of these receiving blues. In third place, Jade Mark. Fourth, Owen Wright. Fifth, Jason Wright. And sixth, Jade Mark. And also, I'll point out that this is Jason Wright's last year's showing. He will receive a cash award from the Page County Cattlemen. Ready now for our class number 7, third group of home-raised cattle. Leading off, we have Carson Cooper. His steer weighs 1345. Followed by Kate Schaefer, 1360. Cheyenne Sunderman, her steer is 1385. Evan Fast, 1390. And then we have Colby Carlson. His steer weighs 1405. This is Class 7, third group class of home-raised steers.
Again, a really nice set of fat steers here, and there's not a bad one in the set, honestly. Really appreciate the kind of just fat steer quality, the way that these animals have gained, the muscle, the stuff like that. So just the market fundamentals that we've got. The differences are more in this class, a little more of the show differences, and so I'm going to discuss that. I think the calf, though, that wins, I think he does so just as he presents probably the most attractive, striking image from the side. He's big bone. Man, is he big bodied. His neck is really cool out of the top of his shoulder. He's good hipped. Did I say he's big boned? He's really big boned. Get him behind him. He's real stout. Calf is probably just a little further along in his condition than I'd like. You can tell he's just a little older, a little more stale to the touch. But I think that calf just presents enough quality that he wins the class here. Congratulations, young man. The calf, I think that most closely resembles him comes second in terms of just some of the added quality. Man, is he a really soft-bodied, really, really wide constructed calf. I mean, he is wide. One that I think also, like, he sends his neck high out of the top of his shoulder and presents a real balanced image from the side. But I think that added width kind of hinders his mobility just a little. He wants to get outside of himself ever so slightly, and he just doesn't have near kind of the added cleanliness and stuff as I analyze him and compare to the calf in front of him. But I think a really, really nice steer to come second in this class, and I think gets second really handily in this class. Nice job, young man. I think the calf that just comfortably slides third is the calf that comes next. He most closely resembles our class winner in second place, and some of the added look that he has from the side, the balanced image. I think there's a calf that's big-footed and he's soft-bodied and has a lot of quality there. He's just a little more upright in his hock and his pastern, and he just doesn't have near the look that the calves in front of him have. But a really nice calf here. When he walked in, I thought, heck, that was a calf that could win a class. But calf that's really, really nice calf that just got hit with some good ones in front of him. The steer that comes next, I think he does so just with some of the added finish, softness, and just the way he gets around the ring. He does so a little more comfortably than the calf that comes after him. When I got my hands on him, real impressed with his cover and his handle. Just like to really just make him a little more attractive as I study him to get up there with those calves in front of him. But a really nice fat steer. I bet he hangs a really nice carcass for this young lady. Taking nothing away from the calf to finish the class. Another one I think that hangs a nice carcass, soft-made calf that presents a little like real soft-bodied fat steer look from the side. Just like to soften him up as I get my hands on him compared to the ones in front of him. But again, I think he's going to cut out with a really nice carcass, really, really nice fat steer for this young man. Congratulations to a really good class of just good cattle.
Class number 3, our champion goes to Toby Carlson. And I'll point out now, this is Toby's last year of showing, so he will receive a cash award from the Page County Cattlemen. Second place, receiving a purple, we have Evan Fast. The rest are receiving blues. In third place, Case Schaefer. Fourth, Cheyenne Sunderman. And in fifth, Carson Cooper. And also, I'll point out, in that class, we've got 3 in the top rate of game. 17th spot, we have Carson Cooper, Case Schaefer, 14th, and Evan Fast, whose steer was 13th in the rate of game. Okay, let's bring in our 4th class of home-raised steers. These steers weigh between 1410 and 1460. Leading off, we have Jacob Mark, 1410. Followed by Stevie Wilmus. Steer weighs 1410 also. Mackenzie Fast. Her steer weighs 14 1/4. Ian Forsyth, his steer is 1430. And Owen Johnson, 1460. This is class number 8, 4th group of our home-raised steers.
In this class, elected to use the two kind of heaviest muscled, stoutest made steers beginning at the top, and I think the one that just kind of hits you with a little more look and presence is the calf that wins the class. I think the one that's really soft in his body, really nice to the handle, and he certainly has plenty of muscle. He gets around the ring with the most ease, probably. Real soft in his body, like I said, so a nice calf to start the class. Real good fat steer. Calf that comes next, I think he emulates our class winner's muscle, and in fact, I think he's probably just a little heavier structured, bigger bone. I think, to me, just a calf that I'd like to just maybe make him just a little softer and in his rib and back into his flank in comparison to the calf in front of him. He seems to also be just a little more labored out of his front end in comparison, but again, a stout-made, good calf here to come second. I think the very logical place to go next is the red steer. One that doesn't have near the muscle as the calves in front of him, but he's really soft-bodied. He's really smooth in his finish. Gets around the ring with relative ease and comfort. One that I think just a really nice fat steer that's soft and gained well here to go third, and fits third pretty comfortably in this class. Calf that comes next, I think he does so just with having a little bit more muscle compared to the calf below him. One that he's really sound structured and gets around pretty well. One I just like to see a little softer in his body and just gained a little better, be a little more uniform in his finish. But a nice calf here. And then one to finish off, I think one that's real sound made, got a lot of frame to put on some added weight as we move forward. One I just like to see be a little softer in his body. One be a little stouter as I get him behind him, a little further along in his finish. But a nice, really nice fat steer for this young lady. Really functional.
All right, in that class, our fourth class of home-raised steers, our champion is shown by Stevie Wellness. Our reserve goes to Mackenzie Fast. Others receiving blues in third in Forsyth, in fourth Owen Johnson, and in fifth Jacob Marsh. In that class, also you'll note that Jacob's steer was 15th, a rate of gain. Stevie's was 9th, and Owen Johnson's was 10th. We're ready now for our last class of home-raised steers, class number 9. We have Jade Mark. Steer weighs 1475, followed by Dalton Wright. His steer is 1515. Then we have Cade Myers, 1535. And Ian Forsyth's steer, 1635. This is class number 9, our last class of home-raised steers. Following this, we will pick our champion and reserve champion home-raised, and then we will break for lunch. Looking ahead this afternoon when we get into our showmanship contest, we're going to start with the juniors first. We'll do the juniors, intermediates, and then the seniors. So juniors, you'll be the first group to come in for showmanship later this afternoon. Helping out this morning, passing out ribbons, rotating in and out are some of our queens. So I'm going to let them tell you who they are. First, we have our Page County Fair queen.
Hi, my name is Angus Junior. I am going to be a freshman in college this year at Iowa Western, and I've attended 4-H for 9 years.
And also helping out is our runner-up.
My name is Allie Johnson, and I'm going to be senior at Clarinda, and I'm in East River.
Thank you. Give a big hand to these ladies, please, for helping out today.
I'm Colby. I'm the second runner-up, and I'm the daughter of Mike and Amy Wilmus. I'll be going to Iowa State this fall, and I'm a 9-year member of the Nottoway Nuggets.
Thank you.
Here in our big boys, we got a nice set of fat steers here. I think we start the class with the heaviest muscled, most expressive calf. He probably gets around the ring the most comfortably. One that I'm really impressed with just how much raw muscle and softness this calf has. He's just a really good fat steer, and I think he wins pretty easily. Congratulations, young man. Nice calf. The one that comes next, I think he most closely emulates our class winner's added expression and added muscle. When you get him behind him, he's probably just like that calf in terms of width. I just don't think he does so maybe quite in as smooth and attractive of a package. It's a little more upright in his knee and has some swelling there in his hock, but he sure handles it well getting around the ring. But a good fat steer with a good finish, soft-bodied, nice calf to come second. Now our big boy here coming next, he does so in a really functional package as well. Really impressive when an animal can weigh that and still get around that well. To me, I just like to see him naturally when I get him behind him have a little more actual expression of muscle, but really nice fat steer that's gained really well for that young man, and he's going to make a pile of money on him, so congratulations on that. Calf that comes next, one that I think has got a lot of frame, really heavy structured, one that gets around the ring really well. Just like to see him be a little stouter and softer compared to those calves in front of him, but a nice functional calf to end the class with today. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Okay, in our last class of home race steers, class number 9, our champion goes to Cade Myers. Cade happens to be a senior, and his steer was also in 5th place in the rate of gain. He will receive the cash award from the Page County Cattlemen. Our reserve goes to Dalton Wright. His steer was also 3rd in the rate of gain. Others receiving blues, we have Ian Forsyth. His steer was 6th in the rate of gain. And following up with another blue is Jade Mark, with his steer also was in the top 20 rate of gain in the 11th position. Okay, we're ready to select our champion and reserve champion home race steer. We'll bring in the reserves first. Out of our first group of home raised cattle, we have Cheyenne Sunderman. Her steer weighed 1275. The next class, we had Braden Nowhere, reserve. His steer weighed 1335. Out of our third class, we have Evan Fast. His steer weighed 1390. And of the fourth class, we had Mackenzie Pass, her steer weight 1425. And out of our fifth class, we have Dalton Wright, his steer weight 1515. We'll take these steers to the north end, and then we'll bring in our champions in each of the 5 classes of home race. Okay, let's bring in the champions. That first class, we have Maggie Carlson. Her steer weight 1285. Jacob Mark, class 2 of the home race, 1335. Colby Carlson, his steer weight 1405. We have Stevie Wilmus, the fourth class of home race, 1410. And Cade Myers, his steer 1535 out of class number 5 of home race.
folks. Well, put your hands together for a really, really good class, really good set of home-raised cattle. It's always cool when these are home-raised, exhibited. I'm guessing a lot of these kids had these calves picked out when they were a lot younger than when the calves were a lot younger than most people do. Just raising them themselves, they knew they liked them, and they decided they wanted to show them. And just commend them for the process. It's awesome to see that. Really nice set out here. Really like them from top to bottom. I think that they're just good, practical fat cattle out here that will do a lot of good just in general. I mean, the industry we're in, we need to make sure that they're practical fat cattle first and foremost. So, but I think there's a few differences out here. There's a few that are just a little more, have a little more of that show cattle look to them, and that probably gives them a slight advantage in the cow show. But definitely want to commend everyone out here for their hard work, and thank you also for the ring help doing a good job so far today. Give them a round of applause if you would.
Okay, congratulations to our home-raised champions. Our champion goes to Colby Carlson. He will receive a banner sponsored by Twin Oaks Vet Clinic, Anderson Farms, and Brockland Farms through the Page County Cattlemen. And our reserve goes to Evan Fast, and his steer weight 1390. He'll receive a banner sponsored by or provided by Whip Sales and Service through the Page County Cattlemen. Okay, that concludes our show for this morning. The cattlemen, I think, are cooking sandwiches out north here. We will see you back here in 1 hour, approximately. Merlin says 1 o'clock. We're going to go with 1 o'clock for that first class after lunch. The class